Okay, well, it is not Saturday. That means it is a late third episode of 100% fan service. That's mostly my fault. But we're here now, so we're going to get it out there. With me, as always, is, as I said, I was going to give him that nickname last week. It is the Mecha Maharaja, Brandon. You did miss something last week. That voice you're hearing was the guy that was not here last week, and I still not really sure what to call him. Brandon's not happy with me calling him Muggle, but I don't know. Until he says what he prefers to be called, that's what we're going to call him. Anyway, so for the last couple of weeks, I was trying to find where you could legally stream the stuff and the sites they're on, and I couldn't find them. This week, somebody finally released a list of something like that. I'm not going to read it off because we've already read off the list of series this season quite a few times, and nobody wants to hear that again. So I'm just going to, as we do the little opening of the show here, I'm just going to put it up on screen. So if you're watching, there's kind of a list. There was a few that hadn't been assigned a website yet, but this was like the comprehensive official list at the time when I copied it. So there it is on screen if you're watching. If you're not, well, I guess I'm sorry because it's quite a long list and we're not going to read it off. But before we get into the news, we're going to start talking about some other stuff, I guess. I was late. We didn't do the show yesterday because I was late. And I was late because I was doing something I claimed was very risky, and that's seeing the second Blade Runner. Why is that risky? Because I gotta say it, I hate the first one with an extreme passion.
Now, are you talking about the theatrical release? Are you talking about the director's cut? The final cut?
I'm probably talking about all the cuts, but I'm sure as you go deeper into the cuts, it probably gets worse and worse. That's just I know that people widely disagree with me on that statement.
Yeah, I think the consensus is that it gets better.
I know the consensus probably is that, but I can tell you for sure that I did not see the original cut. I saw one of the later cuts. So if that's true and it gets better, then I'd hate to see the original.
Yeah, I've seen the original. It can be pretty boring,
Ah,
but I still enjoy it.
yes, we've talked about this before. I know that you like Blade Runner, and interesting. You were saying yesterday you wanted to know what I thought of it because you were saying what you were saying that if I was bored, then that's a good
Yeah,
sign. It's probably a good movie.
yeah. If you're bored with a movie, that means it's going to be one of the best movies of all time.
Hmm. Well, I waited so that you could hear it here, but I'm sorry to tell you, I thought it was 1,000 times better than the first one.
That's disappointing.
I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh, that's genuinely disappointing.
Matt liked it too.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So we liked it. I mean, I will say, I have if I have a tiny little complaint, I wish it just had a couple more small action scenes in it. Just a couple small ones. I'm not saying it needed it, but it just would have been nice. Just a couple more small ones. When we went in, my brother was talking about how he hoped it wasn't unnecessarily long because it was 2 hours and 44 minutes. So he hopes, that it didn't need to be that long. He hoped it didn't turn out to be one of those situations. And I can tell you they did not waste any of the 2 hours and 44 minutes. It was a very deep, very complex movie with a lot of real deep stuff going on. I really enjoyed it a lot.
No, not necessarily. But the rule is, right? The rule here is if Sam finds a movie boring, then that means it's going to be one of the most well-regarded films of all time. And you'll notice I said films, not movies. Film.
See, I would never use the word film. But I guess, if we're talking about the asshole definition, film, as I sit here and do quotes no one can see with my fingers, then I guess this second Blade Runner movie would be closer to film. I don't know if it's just because I don't know if it's just because it I don't know because
Heard
it's
it here first.
closer. I'm saying I did not use it. I'm saying it would be closer if we're using that definition. I don't know if it's because it had a different writer, if just the special effects were better, but I mean the story was definitely a lot better. All the effects were really nice. They did some real interesting stuff with the effects. Some of it was pretty crazy.
I'm definitely
There's
looking
a
forward to seeing
there's
it.
like a sex scene in particular where they do some stuff with special effects that was pretty fucking cool. I thought. Yeah, it was a sex scene with the special effects. Yeah, it's probably nothing that you're thinking, but
I'm trying to imagine. I'm thinking androids.
yeah, you're wrong actually, but let's just say it involves something that somewhere in Japan, I'm sure someone is attempting to make for us as we speak.
And it's not robots.
It's not robots. No, no, no. You don't know what I'm talking. If you saw it, you'll know.
Yeah, I'm imagining what it is. That
Well, I guess this isn't really ruining anything because you find out at the beginning of the movie. So, I mean, the sex scene's later, but Ryan Gosling's girlfriend that he lives with in the movie is a hologram. Ryan Gosling's
okay,
girlfriend is a hologram
that was my second guess.
that's just generated by this like machine he has on the ceiling that moves around his house. But at the beginning of the movie, he gives her a present, and it's this little thing that she can like download into, and it'll allow her to project anywhere in the world, so she can go with him anywhere. Oh, she's not blue. She's she's human sized. She's human sized. She can change like what outfit or whatever she's wearing or hairstyle in like a second. Like she's constantly.
Man, that would be a crappy hologram if it couldn't.
But there's a sex scene with her later in the movie that is pretty interesting with the effects.
Okay.
But okay, well before we get into the news portion of our show, and want to talk about anything else that's going on? That's
No. I mean, I'm excited for Destiny coming out in PC, but that's
Oct-
really it.
October 24th. October 24th.
Yeah, the hype's really died down though, from where it was
I
last
think
year.
it'll get picked up when Blizzard releases it. I think it'll get picked up. The hype, like it'll be back.
We'll see.
Like look at like Grand Theft Auto 5. That came out like years after its initial release on the PC, and then when it came out on the PC, the hype was like bigger than ever on it.
I just don't understand why they're waiting on it. I'm sure it has something to do with production, but
I really have no idea either. But I guess if that's it, and we'll get into the news. The first one is something everybody already knows about, probably for sure, but we didn't have a chance to talk about it last week. What?
I think we missed it.
Yeah, I hear you. You're here, Jing. I hear you. I didn't go quiet.
No, you went quiet the rest.
Oh. Well, I'm sure. Well, the OBS has probably still picked it up. Like I could see the line moving. But anyway, so last week we went off. When we went off, less than 30 minutes after we went off the air on our recording, the two new Sword Art Online series got announced. So, guess we can talk about those. The first one I've actually read some of, and that's the main series. The season 3 is going to be the Sword Art Online Alicization arc. I've actually read some of that, some of those novels, It's the longest Sword Art Online storyline out of all of them. Um, I'm so you guys haven't read any of that, I imagine, or have any idea what it's about.
Not in the least bit.
Okay, well, there's the Sword Art Alicization little poster there. Um, so Kirito, he's tricked by this company called Wrath, essentially. Like he thinks that he's just like testing this kind of thing for him, but he's actually being tricked and he's put into a world where they're testing artificial intelligence for military use, and time moves 1,000 times faster in this world than in the real world, and him and everyone else in it have no idea they're even in one. They think they've just lived in that world their whole life. They don't know it's a fantasy world. They just real to them.
So is it kind of like what we were hoping for from the first season? Not to talk bad about the first season.
No, no, definitely talk bad about the first season.
Well, they don't know they're in a game this time. I don't think. Like they think they just live there.
But okay, you have to admit, whether you liked it or not, that it was extremely popular.
I love Sword Art Online. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't have a particular problem with it, but it is I guess the popular thing to hate on.
I think they get a little bit too heavy with the relationship drama, but other than that, I think it's pretty good.
I don't know. It felt like they cut it too short, and I think that's just because of the anime.
Well, this is the longest arc in Sword Art Online, and the season is actually called Sword Art Online Alicization, so it should be the whole set of like 24 episodes. Should be the whole thing, but also that's not all. There's another anime being made for a Sword Art Online spin-off novel. There's a spin-off novel called Gun Gale Alternative, and they're doing an anime series for Gun Gale Alternative also. It's actually the book Gun Gale Alternative is written by the author of a anime we're going to be talking about later that started this week. It's the author of Kino's Journey. So, and that's about, I guess it's a girl named Karen Kohiruimaki. I guess you know how we are with pronunciation on this show. And a girl she meets in Gun Gale named, they're fucking with me right here. This name is spelt Pitohui. Pit. I don't even. Anybody want to try that one?
Do it.
All I can think of is like Pitui or something. That has to be wrong. But anyway, the thing I guess it said that it's mostly about them participating in like a squad based battle royale version of the Bullet of Bullets tournament from season 2. And no, the poster is really nice. The characters on the poster, they really have like the main character really has that like, since it's by the author of Kino's Journey, that's probably one of the only reasons I'm thinking about it. But she really has that like Kino's Journey look to her. So there's that going on. So that's exciting. I think I don't know if they're both starting at the same time or anything. They're both just announced, but it'd be pretty cool if they're both on at the same time.
I wonder how they're gonna do it.
What does Jing think of Sword Art Online? I know he was saying please talk shit about the first season.
Well, hold on. First question is, have you seen so far?
Well, I have seen the first. Yeah, unfortunately, I've seen the second. But
When you say first, yeah, we need to clarify. You're not talking about the first episode. You're talking about the first season.
first and second season.
Okay.
No. I don't know. There was a guy I was trying to get to watch it one time, and he said he fell asleep during the first episode. So, fuck that guy. No, I stopped. I didn't recommend anything else to him after that because that was. I don't know what the hell he's looking for. It's weird too because this guy fell asleep during the first episode of that, but he watches every single CBS crime drama there is. So you guys don't know him. But anyway, yeah, wow. So anyway, after Sword Art Online, we'll move on here. Last week we talked about it maybe getting announced, but then at the Dengeki Bunko Festival last weekend on Sunday, they did announce the third season of certain Magical Index. Any of you guys seen that? Because I've never seen Magical Index, but I don't know. I always thought Railgun looked cool.
They got made it to like episode 6.
I think I'm getting feedback on one of you guys' speakers.
Well, Brenda's not talking right now, so Sandy, no.
When I talk, I think I'm getting feedback. Like I can hear it. It sounds like it's like a buzzing, but I think it's my voice.
How
The
about that?
buzzing's coming from Jing. I don't know.
Oh, that's good.
But whether or not it's you, like, feedback.
How's the buzzer now?
Well, I don't know. I got to talk first. But anyway, there we go. I hear it.
That's not me then. I thought it was okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, no, it sounds like it's like a voice. Like when someone's talking, it sounds like. But whatever. I don't hear it right now. Anyway, I always thought Scientific Railgun looked cool. I never watched Magical Index, but I always thought Railgun looked cool and wanted to get into it. I just never have.
Are they not the same thing?
Different perspective.
No. Okay.
Well, I just always thought the main, like the chick from Railgun, looked pretty cool.
She has her own
You know.
Her name's Costa?
Well, none of us have seen it, so it's not that weird that we don't know the name.
No, I'm saying I don't. I'm not just now. But no, actually, I like certain Magical Index and its spin-offs is because they actually combine the magic with science, try to put their own pursuit of like spin on it as to like how they make it magic.
Hmm.
Because like for the Magical Index, the main character can disable every mutant scientific power there is until they found out there's a magical society, at which point the main character's ability works on that as well. So they start to try to support them like that.
And this is the magic index, right?
Yes.
Not the railgun index.
No, Railgun is it's a schoolgirl drama.
Well, they must be in the same world though, because in the poster here for the announcement, it's got the Railgun girl and then the Magical Index people.
No, because Railgun Girl is one of the 5 I think in the world. But I mean, as far as the Railgun and the Magical Index, it's that Railgun is actually just a spin-off of like a high school program, nothing else. More about that than the actual conflict and combat and otherness.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
Wait, so you have seen it?
I've seen some amount of it. I made the mistake of starting at Railgun and then no, and then I actually currently watching the Magic Index.
I think there's a movie too, isn't there, for Magical Index?
Yes, there's
Well, I don't know anything about that. But moving on, we got another anime series announcement. They're Professor Layton. Nintendo making a Professor Layton anime series, which honestly I've only played a little bit of one of the Professor Layton games, but I mean, yeah, it's a puzzle game, but I'm excited about it because there's a Professor Layton. I think there's a Professor Layton game where he's with Ace Attorney. There's an Ace Attorney like crossover game, I think. So that makes me think of that. And I know a lot of people didn't like the Ace Attorney anime because they're like, it didn't follow the games. It cut out a lot of stuff from the games, I guess. But they just didn't fucking have time. Like, I loved the Ace Attorney anime, so I'm pretty psyched about the Professor Layton anime series. But yeah, it's a puzzle solving crime game. So it's like a crime investigation game with puzzles. I think there's a cell phone game I think you can even get of it. And that's going to be 26 episodes. So it's going to be nice and long. I'm really looking forward to it. I I would love another Ace Attorney season. That's Ace Attorney for me is one of those anime series where you just think like, where the fuck season 2 already?
Pretty sure we could make a list of just that and go off and run.
Well, I'm sure someday we'll do like a top 10 series that where the fuck's the second season like for us personally.
We don't need to top it. It's just like whichever on the top of that day, we just go on and like ridiculous rant about it, and then
We were looking for something to do next week anyway. Maybe we could do a list of
one and explain exactly why
of
you love it and why you demand
of,
us to go on it. I think
of where the fuck season 2 like.
I like that. I like that.
yeah, that
That
sounds
name
great.
for that bit.
Okay, there's the picture. I'm being really slow on these visuals. I'm not used to it. But there's the little Professor Layton poster there. You see the little kind of more like cutesy art style, real Nintendo looking. Really fits it. Um, but I guess we'll move on to, I think, one of the more exciting announcements for the week here. Okay. One of the more exciting announcements. So this is Kazukina Kashima right here. This guy talking on the microphone. And he is the main composition guy for Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill. Okay. Well, is going to be he's going to be writing a new series. So he's going to be writing the show. The character designer for the show is going to be the Afro Samurai character designer. Now, while I hate Afro Samurai, the character design still looks pretty fucking cool. And the series is going to be directed by the guy that did the openings for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, which those openings pretty fucking cool. So I think this guy can direct a series pretty nice there. Now, what the series is the most exciting part, because the series is Batman Ninja. And the poster for it is fucking awesome. I'm guessing you guys have not seen the poster for it, right? Safe to say. Okay, well,
Yes, I have, but I didn't know.
I can help Jing out on here. I'll post it right here on the Discord. The poster is fucking awesome. Look at that.
Yeah, that is.
They're gonna be cool. Now, there's not much announced for it yet or anything. In fact, when I originally made the announcement for the show, they didn't have the poster out for it, and then it came out just a couple days ago, and I was very excited that I checked.
So, are we still doing a note,
A what?
or is he gonna kill people? That looks like a regular blade instead of the
That is true. It does not look like the reverse sword there.
So,
Looking at it
what
though,
are we doing this? How are we doing this?
looking at it though, he definitely is wearing like samurai armor, that kind of style
Oh,
armor.
right, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I don't think this is gonna be Bruce Wayne or
What? Yeah, okay.
Damian Wayne.
Maybe it'll be like a Japanese version of Bruce Wayne's name.
Listen, if Matt Damon can go to China, save the Great Wall of China in history, Bruce Wayne can be in Japan slicing Japanese.
Is Matt Damon going to save the Great Wall? Is that accurate Chinese history, Jing?
I think so. I believe it is currently accurate history, scientifically and historically accurate.
Well, you would know better than us, so I just got to believe you.
Say what you want, but I heard that movie did really well in
No,
China.
it was a great movie, as long as you're willing to take it for what it is. It's supposed to be scientifically
Accurate.
historically accurate.
Okay, well, if it's historically accurate, no one can be offended by it if it's historically accurate.
Oh, that would be amazing if we found out any explain that. That's what really happened.
Well, yeah, we can't be offended by it if it's that accurate. Anyway, I'm pretty psyched for this. There was no real information about it, but I mean that pictures was cool enough to talk about than anything. That is badass.
You know what this reminds me of? There was I don't remember who did it. There was a Japanese, there was like a Chinese animation of a Batman in China. It was like Batman Shanghai or something like that. If you do it on Google, YouTube, you'll find it. But it reminds me a little bit of that, where there's takes a different approaches to like how Batman would have done in different cultures.
Hmm. I suppose. I guess we kind of already have a Batman Africa, though. That's basically the Black Panther. Um, kind of. Not really, not really. But you know that's what a lot of people think when they see Black Panther.
That's what I thought.
But anyway, moving on, I guess, off the cool Batman Ninja to another announcement that I don't know. I won't be able to talk that much about. Just like Scientific Magical Index. But hey, it's there, so we got to talk about it. And that's the Tokyo Ghoul season. I got the visual right here. So I'll start talking about that. So it's season 3, I suppose, of Tokyo Ghoul. I've only seen the first half of the first season of Tokyo Ghoul, so I can't talk much about it. I know this is that Tokyo Ghoul, like R-E, I suppose. And all I have from the synopsis, if you haven't read it, but you watched Tokyo Ghoul and you liked it and you're interested in this, is that the counter ghoul agents, so the agents that hunt down the ghouls, are given the part of ghouls that gives the ghouls their powers. So the agents are now going to have ghoul powers without actually being ghouls, but they're untested, so it's questionable whether or not they might be corrupted by these new powers and maybe not really do what they're supposed to be doing. I have not read a single chapter. I don't know much about it. I know that what I did see of Tokyo Ghoul has really cool action scenes. Maybe one of the other two can talk more about it. I don't know if they've seen it or not.
No. Oh, I haven't either.
It's just, I know it's like one of those series where it's like one of those staple series that like you just have to see.
Apparently not.
But there's just like, there's just so many, there's thousands of anime series, and like that's one of the interesting things about it. Like you're never going to run into people once they've seen enough series that have seen the same ones you have. Like you've seen 100 they haven't seen, they've seen 100 you haven't seen. Some of them will be staples where you're like, how the fuck haven't you seen that one? And this is just one of those for me where people got to ask, how the fuck haven't you seen that one? Like,
But with that said, it is on my queue.
I mean, what I have seen, I did like. I know that some of the manga fans don't like the first season because they say it veers off from the manga. I don't know how much it does. From what I've read about the veering off, I've heard people say like it doesn't hardly at all, and it's just like the tiniest thing, and people are just getting anal about it. So I don't know which one's correct, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll watch Tokyo Ghoul. I like Tokyo Ghoul, so maybe I'll catch up in time to watch this one. I don't know. The live action movie is going to be in theaters in a couple weeks. I'll probably go see the live action movie. Maybe that'll like reinvigorate my fucking hype to watch the series. I don't know.
Have you read it?
What?
Isn't it like have you read it?
I have not read the manga. No, I've just seen like the first half of the first anime season.
Oh, okay.
Got cool action scenes. I mean, if you've seen the character, the main character with his mask on and everything, like he looks awesome.
Yeah, I've seen
And this is okay. Moving on, we're not off anime announcements, but we're temporarily off new series announcements here, and we're gonna go to a series that I liked. I liked it enough but this will probably interest Brandon more than it'll interest me. Um, and that's Drifters. At the end of the first season of Drifters, the end of this episode, they announced that, like Drifters will return, like that whole thing. And I guess the sequel for Drifters is going to start with Drifters episodes 13 and 14. It's going to be released on Blu-ray and DVD, episodes 13 and 14 in Japan. And that DVD will also include a revised version of episodes 10 to 12. Because I guess the creator said that they were rushed and they didn't have time to put everything in 10 through 12 that they wanted to put in. So I guess there's going to be new stuff in there, and the animation's going to be cleaned up and stuff like that. So I guess a full new season is coming, but just the first two episodes, 13 and 14, will be on Blu-ray and DVD. I don't know if those episodes will eventually be on TV as part of the new season or not, or if like the new season will start with 15. I have no idea. That wasn't announced. But all in all, Drifters was pretty cool, It's got that, Hellsing vibe. I think Drifters is the creator of Hellsing, right?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
I think it's the creator of Hellsing.
I do know every time I look at the characters for Hellsing or see something about it, I have to actually stop myself and go, hold on, you've only ever seen the abridged version.
Well, I think
The way you think about those characters isn't what those characters are actually.
I think Hellsing has an extremely anticlimactic ending. I cannot stand the ending of Hellsing, but still, it's still a pretty cool series, all in all, and so is Drifters. Real interesting takes whenever they bring another person from different parts of history there. Really, really graphic series, just like Hellsing. So it's pretty cool. I don't really have a visual for episodes 13 and 14. The one on the show right now is just the original Drifters poster because they didn't have a visual for the new season or anything. And then here was something I was going to talk about, but what?
I was going to say, do we know if it's going to be released like on Crunchyroll? Or?
It said Blu-ray and DVD episodes 13 and 14. Usually when you hear about something like that, like an OVA episode or something, you'll usually find out it's being released with like a volume of the manga or something on a DVD. But this didn't release and mention anything about manga or anything. So this sounds like it's just going to be just a straight up DVD that you can buy in Japan.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure you'll be able to find it online and like immediately. So that won't be a problem. And then I was going to talk about something. We made the show like a day late, so this is kind of dated right now. So I won't talk about that. And we'll move on to our last piece of anime news. Last piece of anime news for the day. And that is something that Brandon will be able to talk about more than me also, even though I can talk about it. And that is Gundam Origin, Rise of the Red Comet.
I don't know what you want me to say about it because I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched any of Origin?
I watched the first, I think, episode or 2 episodes.
I actually really enjoy Origin. But anyway, so this is Origin here. This is, I think, the final planned episode of Origin, at least in the original plans. It's going to come out in Japan on May 5th, 2018. And it's going to be all about Char, how Char earned the name the Red Comet.
I mean, I'm definitely for that.
It's going to feature...
Betty's dying. Or Zaku's.
It's going to feature the Federation's Project V weapons, which eventually become the plans, which turn into the RX-78-2 Gundam. So I guess it'll have early versions of what becomes the Gundam in that one. However, the author of the Gundam Origin manga says that this will not be the end. He says that there will be more of this series, and he wants to do the 1 year war arc after this.
So, if I remember correctly, the first episode of Origin was released, what, 2 years ago?
Mm,
Something like that?
it was at least two, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm.
Now, they're like hour-long episodes, too, if I remember correctly.
They are, yes.
So, I mean, it's one of those things where I remember watching the first one and going, I'm not going to wait, 6 months for the next one.
It's just like when we were. It's just like when we were just talking about. When we were just talking about Hellsing with Hellsing Ultimate, like it was the same thing as that, where it was released one every 6 months. Okay, so episode 1 of Gundam Origin, Blue Eyed Casval, was released on February 28th, 2015.
Okay.
Episode 2, Artisia's Sorrow, October 31st. Dawn of Rebellion, May 21st. Eve of Destiny, November 19th. Clash of Loom, September 2nd, 2017. And now finally, Rise of the Red Comet. And like I said, after this, he wants to do the 1 year war arc. The 1 year war arc. After this. So he plans for it to continue.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. In fact, I'll probably try to find these and watch them in the next couple of weeks.
Like, I love Char in Origin. I will say, though, the way that he gets the name Char and everything and all that is one of the cheesiest fucking things they've ever happened. Like, oh, we need this to happen somehow. Let's do it this way.
Seems to be a lot of that in it.
But
First episode, he gets in a gun tank and takes out, what, 2 other gun tanks?
no, just wait. Just wait until you see it. Wait until you see it. It's something special.
I mean, I get that he's a prodigy, but, I mean, really?
No, like his no. I mean, just wait till you see how like when he gets the name. It's
I get it. The
it's brilliant.
Federation, no, they're horrible. They can't kill anybody. I get that.
Why are we still talking about him driving the damn tank? Also, listen. The scene where he's driving the tank in episode 1, that is badass.
I disagree.
I loved that.
I disagree. I mean, he was 10 years old, and even if him being a prodigy, he shouldn't be able to control mobile suit. Even a gun jet.
Why? Like,
These super advanced things, These super advanced mecha. And he just gets in, he's like, okay, I know how to do this.
So they're not allowed to be user friendly on top of being advanced.
No, not those ones.
Why not?
Because they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be like macros and macros on top of macros. I don't
listen,
like
Casval has good APM.
And not only that, but okay, never mind. My other argument was that the other gun players should have been able to handle it because they're trained soldiers, but they're Federation soldiers, so they're incompetent. So you're right. I can see it. You guys are right.
Okay, yes. Well, obviously. I guess we'll move on back to what we usually do first, and that's live action anime movie news. Now, every week now, it seems like we're talking about the Full Metal Alchemist live action movie. But they put a new trailer out for it this week, and which I thought was pretty impressive compared to past trailers. And I really think they got some real good effects going on here. I'm surprised, because usually when you see the budget for live action Japanese movies, the effects usually look like just pure shit. But I think that for a Japanese movie especially, the effects on this are actually really nice. And there was a lot of cool shit in the preview. You did go watch it?
I did, but no, I didn't watch it yet. I did post it in chat.
Oh, the preview?
Me and Gene want to watch it?
Yeah, you guys...
I have one of the major
Did you know the Philosopher's Stones are made out of people?
No,
Oh, I was actually gonna talk about that at the end. I didn't take a screenshot of that, and it comes up so fast in the preview. It comes up so fast in the preview that I didn't see it when I first watched it, and then when I was scanning through to get screenshots for our show, and I was going like frame by frame, I saw it. Like I came across it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because I was thinking that this movie might be like an original story, just like a filler story thrown in or something. But with the dog, it looks like, are they really going to try to do all like 52 episodes or 100 chapters of the manga in one movie? Are they really going to do that? Like,
Of all the things they cut, why not this one? Come on.
Why would they show it in the trailer?
it's real fast. It's real fast.
But still, that's like one of those moments where you don't talk about it.
One of my favorite
That's your meaning.
one of my favorite parts of the preview that I thought looks really cool with the effects is when you got Ed there and he's running on the street and all the stone pillars are coming out of the walls and out of the floor trying to get him. I thought that was done really well. Like, and I know that I've talked shit about Gluttony before, and I still think that the Gluttony looks like shit. But there's that part in the preview where Gluttony is like doing his attack, where he's like getting ready to like consume somebody, and I thought that was done. That looks like it's really nice. All the effects in this look like they're done really really nice in general. And I mean, I wish that I wish that Winry had the right hair color, and that Gluttony looked more like Gluttony. But in general, I mean, as long as, and like we were talking about, because we were talking about how the dog is in it, and that would mean they might be trying to cram all 52 episodes into one movie, and so that might end up being shit.
That's within like the
Well, I know, but I mean, okay. Well, here's my thoughts on it. I thought they were gonna do a filler story, but now that I know they're not, I'm thinking how the movie's not called Part One, and Japan's real big on putting like Part One in the names of movies when it's Part One, so that just worries me. Like, but I will say that if you look on the poster at least, like it's kind of weird because on the poster, right, you don't see Scar or anything, do you? Like, there's no Scar on the poster.
Yeah, just the most powerful, like the second most powerful hand-to-hand combat.
So maybe they're cutting a lot of shit out.
I don't think they're going to be showing nearly as much as you because they don't show anything that doesn't show up in like the first 30 episodes.
Well, Scar's in the first episode, so that's concerning.
Is this based off Brotherhood or is this based off
Oh, I'm sure it's based off the manga, Yeah,
Scar's in the first episode, is he?
I think so. I think him and Ed have their little fight like in the first episode.
No, dude, the first episode's of
Well, within the first couple episodes anyway.
yeah, it is within the first couple episodes. But I think it's like the first 50 episodes.
As you said, the first episode is the Brotherhood anime, wasn't it? About like about
Yeah, the first two episodes I know is the church in the desert, yes. But I think shortly after that you see Scar, like to the point where he'd be in the movie.
He might be, he just might be the bad guy. I know they show the homunculus is the
Well, Scar is the bad guy, even if ultimately he, sides with them. He's still a bad guy. Like
yeah.
Scar, Scar's not a good dude.
No, you're right, but he does become a protagonist.
But so I don't know. I mean, I'm psyched for the movie. It'll be a long time until we get to see it. Doesn't even premiere in Japan until I think October 25th, and it's not even in theaters yet at that point. I don't think it's in theaters till like December 1st or something in Japan.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see 12/1.
Yeah, but yeah, it premieres at like a festival on like I think October 25th, and then it'll be in theaters on December 1st. So we'll see it in what, May at the earliest, unless
They should have took their pillar in the streets budget, and put that towards that.
Unless Funimation grabs the rights to it and puts it in U.S. theaters for a couple of days or something. That's always possible.
I'd probably go see it.
And I think Al looks fine.
I don't want to, but I'd probably.
I think Al looks fine. So I think you're crazy on that one.
Okay.
And then last piece of live action movie news, just something really small. The Ajin movie came out last week. #1 movie in Japan. So, like, I would see that. That's a show with really cool action.
So I haven't actually seen the anime.
Really? That's surprising that you haven't seen it, because I know that at one point you were definitely watching a lot of Netflix anime, and that's a Netflix one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I saw the first episode, but it just didn't hook me at the time. I think it's one of those ones that if I were to go back to it, I'd probably end up watching it.
I know that's one where Jing posted a GIF of it, like when it first came out, and asked what it was from, and I had to search to find out what it was from because I hadn't watched it yet. But it was like right when it came out, like one episode was out of it at the time. It's kind of got that cell shaded CG a little bit. I think the animation in that.
Yeah, the same as Knights of Sidonia and Brian that they're doing.
Okay.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad, I guess. I mean, I'd prefer it not be, but it doesn't look bad.
I think that's one of those things that it looks good so long as they're not trying to do like clean. Like if they put that into like a clean role, it just wouldn't look with it being all dirty in a used universe. I don't know about Ajin. I know that's one of the best parts about Knights of Sidonia.
Well, yeah, you know everybody loves the CG in Berserk, so
Yeah,
never heard any complaints about that.
that's not the same company though,
I know, I'm just saying.
is it?
Well, I don't mind Berserk anyway. I was just saying, I'm not one of those people that hates the Berserk animation. I'm sorry, but
Should apologize. I don't hate it either.
is that? But I mean,
Now with that said, there are definitely problems with it.
I've already said I hate Blade Runner in this episode, so I'm digging a hole. Love.
Berserk animation, wow, dude, you're just trying to get some.
I'm not saying I just have no problem with it. I just have no problem with it. So lastly, I guess we're going to just talk about the one piece of manga news I have this week. And that is the new round of Jump series going to be starting on Monday. 3 new series, 3 weeks in a row, just like Jump usually does it. And of course, the US version of Jump will be doing the first 3 chapters of each of the 3 series, at least the first 3 chapters. The first one they're going to be doing, the one that comes out on Monday. Weird as fuck. This does not look like a Jump show. I mean, a Jump series at all. Jump manga. I don't understand it. I don't understand. I mean, it's Jump, so I gotta trust them because I love everything Jump. But Lycopene, the Tamatoy Poodle.
And why is this not like Jump's normal stuff?
Look at the picture.
I'm looking right at it.
Does that look like Dragon Ball or My Hero Academia or Naruto or Bleach or Gintama or Soma or Haikyuu or Kuroko's Basketball or Nesekoi or like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter? Does this look like all that to you? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Is it a dog? Is it a tomato?
It's like a tomato poodle. The questions will be answered, but I don't. But that doesn't look like Jump to me. I gotta trust him. Because I've never hated something Jump. I don't think my mind can wrap itself around hating something that's Jump. But This looks weird to me. Um,
It was the first time for everyone.
Next week is a series called Full Drive. I couldn't find a visual for that though. I don't think one's out yet. But then the final week, they're gonna do one called Golem Hearts. And the only reason I have a visual for Golem Hearts is because they had a one shot. So it's a one shot that was in the magazine at one point that's now being, you know, getting the full manga. So there's Golem Hearts. I'm not really sure what Golem Hearts is about. I know it's not about a tomato poodle. Not that I hate tomato poodles. A tomato poodle might be awesome. I mean, people know I like cute things in anime. I do. So who knows? Maybe I'll love it. Okay, well that is it for the news, I guess. And we'll talk about I'll definitely be talking about Lycopene, the Tamatoi poodle, next week and tell you how that shakes out, and I'll show you the cover that they went with for it for the magazine. I might even order the magazine because whenever Jump gets a new series, I always like ordering that first issue with the very first cover of them. I got a collection of them going. Even ones that get canceled sometimes because I just really love the cover. Like, absolutely. I still don't have my one for Red Sprite, which I guess is okay because Red Sprite got fucking canceled for some reason. I must be the only person in the world that loved Red Sprite. But
Not the like World War One plane one.
yes, I loved Red Sprite. I don't understand. Like after every single chapter, including the first one, that was just getting bashed everywhere every week, and I was so confused because I really liked it. But anyway, on with the news, and we're gonna go to our main segment of the show, which is, I'm sure as everybody knows, this is the first week of the fall 2017 anime season, and that means we had a shit ton of shows starting. And we watched a decent amount of them, and we're going to talk about the ones we watched, maybe mention a couple that we didn't see and why. We're going to be rating on a criteria. I don't know if we ever thought of words for them, because like I told you, I just have the symbols down. But if we can think of words, that'd be nice. Maybe we think of words next time. I don't know. Basically, whether or not we're planning on watching it, whether or not it's a maybe, or whether it's as I have marked down on my sheet. So
You could always do CGI level animation.
in
So, like, if it's really bad, we'll call it Berserk. If it's really good, we'll call it,
I was gonna
what's a good one?
I was gonna try to get a soundboard going this week. Start our little show soundboard, and I was gonna get. There's this movie called Let It Ride, and there's this guy in the movie that does this, and he does it fucking amazing. So I was gonna try to get that for the show, but I didn't do it. So I'm just gonna say when it's an time. So we'll just go with that, I guess, and we'll try to think of words at another time. I don't have any particular order for the show. I kind of wanted to do it random, which actually worked out because the way I have the visuals set up for the show ended up kind of being randomly set up with all the way I kept switching them around for different needs and stuff. So they're pretty random as it goes anyway. So we'll just start on the first one I have here. We will start with UQ Holder. So, anybody have anything they want to say about UQ Holder to start?
Should we go through and, like, say who watched it?
Well, I watched it.
Or, yeah, well, I know you watched it, but I watched it. Did Jing watch it?
Jing didn't watch anything. Jing is
Sorry, Muggle watch it?
Muggle is here as like the audience. We're presenting it to him like we're presenting it to the audience, and then he'll decide whether or not he's interested, like XX Legolas 227 or whoever's reading. I don't know, watching if anybody does. But UQ Holder. So I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. It was definitely graphic, more graphic than I thought it would be, which was not good or bad, but I'm just saying it was.
Okay. Let's give a basic, like, synopsis.
I guess I should show you the screenshot as we go that the show's showing, so I'll keep posting those. Um,
So basically, this is, I think it's from the creator of Love Hina.
I think so. I think Nagima is. Nagima, yeah, I think is Love Hina, yes.
So, don't let that be, don't let that,
Love Hina is one of my favorite anime comedies of all time. Love Hina, maybe it's because it was my first harem show, but I loved it. It was
I mean, that was the first thing I heard too. So, but what I'm trying to say is, don't let that be something affects your opinion of it, because it's nothing close to that.
well,
Character designs are somewhat similar. But
well, there is a moment that is though, and it's weird because I don't think it's a moment that's in the UQ Holder manga. Because at the beginning of the episode, they're back in the Nagima days,
oh,
and it's just like to remind you, I guess, for the anime that like this is Nagima that you're watching. Like this is a sequel to Nagima. I don't think in the UQ Holder manga they have that. I could check actually because I have the first volume within arm's reach, but I don't think they do.
okay. So basically, what happens is the setting of the world is it's a world that is kind of like a futuristic magic world, right?
And it's years after Nagima.
Yeah, years after Nagima, they have like a space elevator, right? They can do, Ferris wheels and all kinds of magic. That's actual magic, right? And the main character is a boy who we don't really know much about other than he's a person. And his guardian is. Do we want to do spoilers?
Oh yeah, no, this is not a spoiler free. This is all spoilers all the time. I mean, how else are we going to talk about the episodes? I mean,
So the guy, the main character's guardian is a vampire. She's been alive for 7 years. And she's actually part of the Nagima story. And so this boy turns out to have a connection to Nagima, who's this super powerful mage. And throughout the entire episodes, you see, I guess, a phantom, a ghost, whatever you want to call it, of Nagima telling the boy to go to the town. And so this is kind of the first episode where he awakens his powers kind of.
well, I actually think Nagima's kind of a dick. I mean, he could just tell him, like, dude, I'm Nagima. Like, he's pretty vague. He's pretty.
The scene where he looks back and says, "Who are you?" But it's definitely gory.
Anyway, all these people that are in this town, all the young boys, they're kind of not allowed to leave the town when the episode starts. It's kind of like their little lone like mage kind of training village or whatever, and they're not allowed to leave. So they've never been to the main city or everything. So the core point of the episode is the main character and his friends are gonna try to like pass this test to get to leave the town. So to do that, they have to beat their master, which is the vampire. And they can't do it. They try all different kinds of plans. They can't do it.
They don't know she's a vampire.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I'm saying it is the vampire. I'm just saying that's who it is, because, and then one of the other teachers, who's actually like a vampire hunter in disguise, undercover here, trying to catch the bounty on the vampire, tricks the boys into letting him help them defeat the vampire, and that turns into a really cool kind of fight where the undercover teacher is going to try to kill all of them, and the main character to survive ends up being turned into a vampire like his master, and then beats the shit out of said undercover vampire hunter. A pretty graphic scene, but a pretty cool ass action scene there. As we see, the visual here is during that fight. Obviously, it's kind of right after he's been turned into a vampire, and his arm's getting ready to start healing.
So, are you going to continue watching?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely gonna keep watching it.
Yeah, I think I will too.
Oh, the main character, I guess his name is Tota. That's his name. So, UQ holder. So I'm gonna watch it. Brandon's gonna watch it. Jing hasn't watched it, but he's just whatever. Okay, so we're gonna move on here to a series that I might have been the only one that watched. I'm not sure. We'll find out in a second. We're gonna move on to Konohana Kitan. Did anybody else? Obviously not Jing. We'll just stop asking him. But did you? Well, no, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. I'm just saying it's unnecessary, I guess, for us to keep asking. Did you watch Konohana Kitan? Okay. Well, I made it very clear in the first when we were premiering, like just previewing the new season, that I was definitely going to watch this. Just the picture on the preview alone was enough to get me to watch it. I love the cute girls doing cute things anime. I won't say it's my favorite genre, but I like it a lot. And I mean, look at that fucking face. Look at that fucking face. How could anybody not watch this show? Holy shit. So, there's no main story to the show, at least not yet. It's this girl that you're seeing the awesomely cute face of being dropped off by her caretaker at this hotel, and she kind of gets her job at the hotel as like a favor. And it's her dealing with trying to work at this real fancy rich person's kind of real fancy hotel, and the problems of her doing everything wrong and everything. It's really nice. There's this really awesome, so just funny shit ensues throughout the episode. There's this, oh my god, if you want to get fucking diabetes from the fucking cuteness, there's this scene in the show where she waxes the floor too much. So she waxes the floor too much to the point that it's slippery. And then like this customer's coming back after a steam bath or whatever, and he slips on the floor and gets hurt. And her boss is mad and everything. And she's asking like, is there anything we can do like to make this better for you? And the guy's like, he makes medicine. So for ingredients, he's like, well, you could knock down some stars for me. Obviously, he's just like fucking around. But the little girl goes like, yeah, we'll knock down some stars for you. And then there's this awesome fucking, the next scene is at night, and the little girl's out there in the dark by herself throwing these rocks at the sky trying to knock the stars down. And then like right when she throws one up, a shooting star happens, and like she thinks she knocked one down, and it is just amazing. but but anyway, I definitely plan to keep watching this one. It'll definitely be my like show for the season, without a doubt. And just from the first episode, she is going to be a strong contender for the best little cute thing of the year or whatever, competing with the little sisters from Centaur's Life. So she'll be a strong contender already. But Centaur's Life sisters are still going to be hard to beat. So, yay.
So, what about, like, it's just a slice of life Mo kind of thing? Or?
I would say cute girls doing cute things.
Is that not what Mo is? I don't know.
I guess people saying slice of life, and I don't know. I just think cute girls doing cute things isn't necessarily slice of life. People just, I don't know, but it's pretty great. I mean, I don't know how you could look at that face and not watch it, but here we go. So next, now that I'm off my little rant about that, we're gonna move on to probably one of Brandon's most hyped shows, and I gotta say I was pretty excited about it too. Is of course the one that we can never seem to fucking pronounce right. And actually, you know what? I'll let Brandon pronounce it because he found out how to do it, and I can't remember how he said to do it. So we'll see if he can.
Hold up on that. Let's not. I don't know what I say.
Build expectation here.
Yeah. No,
You know what? Fuck it. Jing's gonna do it. Here, Jing, I'm gonna type it. I'm gonna type it in the Discord. Okay, I'm gonna type it in the Discord, and you do it.
Yes, alright.
That sounds a little French, but okay.
That's probably closer than
It's probably closer because I was saying like dies eat an eye or whatever, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, like from the way you're building it up,
Okay, so let's talk about this. I'll let Brandon go first because I think he was more excited about it than I was.
Does this count though? Because I mean, it's episode 0.
Listen, they called it episode 0, and yes, on the visual on the show, I have it listed as episode 0, The Dawning Days, underneath the picture. But I still think it's still the first episode that they wanted to present, so.
I've got a confession to make, right?
Yeah.
So you know how you were talking about your friend who almost before, they were watching anime.
Sword Art
I
Online.
did the same thing. I did the same thing. I fell asleep.
Oh god, I am with you. I didn't fall asleep, but this kind of sucked. This they were jumping around everywhere, and I agree that it was episode 0. So I even have in my notes that maybe they're just like setting, like just doing some quick setups or everything, and then when we see the episode next week, maybe it'll have a lot better pacing, and maybe it'll be pretty good. I don't know. I liked how the characters, while not really having a Hellsing look, they kind of did a little bit with the designs. I thought the character designs, for the most part, looked pretty cool.
I do remember that Golden City. I did like that.
But just the show as a whole I was disappointed because I was hyped.
Yeah.
And then I was disappointed.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Like, so if I remember correctly, they're all fighting, and then all of a sudden they're all on the same team.
It was
So
just
I'm not sure what was going on with that.
it was just a weird episode. That's all it was. It was a weird ass episode. If we're judging it off this episode, then I probably wouldn't continue watching it with how many of the other shows that I did really like. But I'll give it another episode and see what they do. See if the episode 1 is an actual episode 1, and I'll see what happens. But right now, is what that one gets.
Yeah, I have to.
if you're falling asleep watching it,
Okay, so we're gonna move on now to recovery of an MMO junkie.
what junkie you broke up?
An MMO junkie. Did anybody besides me, Brandon, you watch Recovery and MMO Junkie? All right, cool. I didn't think you would.
Well, watch may not be the right word for it either.
So,
I fell asleep during this one.
oh really? I really liked this one. I thought this had like just like the right some of it had some really nice comedy in there. The scene that the visuals from was probably the funniest in the episode. Where basically what the show is, basically what you're watching there is she is playing that male character you're seeing on the screen, and then a dude somewhere is playing the chick character you're seeing on the screen. They don't know that each other. Oh yeah, because you see the guy in the episode.
Oh.
Because she goes out to buy like dinner for herself at the convenience store, and like she bumps into the guy.
Like, we know, right? We know that's him, him.
I think they're pretty clear that that's him.
But do they show anything about that? Like,
I think they imply it. I think they imply it. But I thought it was pretty funny. And another thing about these shows, though, is like I like the scene where they're all sitting there in like the tavern in the game, and they're all drinking and eating and hanging out and stuff. Every time you see that, you think like, wow, these MMOs look cool. And then like you gotta think like that shit never fucking happens in an MMO. That's always what you wish happened sometimes. But no, you never get to have that kind of cool MMO experience.
So we have VR, man.
so, yeah, until we get the but yeah. I see. I'm a different mind of that, because every time top down, look of it, that these games always the throw the game over because I'm like, oh, I would never play.
Well, I certainly wouldn't play this game over many other MMOs here that we've seen in games, but
So the basic plot of this, right? We didn't go over the basic. I wasn't really reading it, but
she's a
the
neat
basic plot of this.
she's a neat
Yeah,
by choice.
she's like what, like 30-year-old or 40-year-old?
Probably I want to say 30, I guess. Neat by choice. She's a neat.
And so she starts playing a game, an MMO, which it's never. Does it ever say how it ever gets on her desktop? Oh, never mind. I'm getting confused. So yeah, she finds this game online down.
Yeah, she's just looking for like MMO recommendations, and this is just the first one she gets recommended, and she's like, "Oh, the art looks cool."
Now I will say I did like the scene where, so when she starts sitting down at her computer doing her stuff, she has like the cheap little mouse and the basic computer keyboard and all that, and then it does like a quick cut later on in the episode. It shows her mouse and keyboard. She has the game set up and everything. I find that pretty fun.
Shows progression. Shows that
And then it's basically romantic comedy kind of show coming on with kind of like an awkward neat based off one of my favorite. I don't know. She kind of reminds me of an older version of one of my favorite anime comedy main characters. And that's like, no matter what you say, it's your fault I'm not popular. That show. Fucking love that one. I think it's no matter what you say, or like I don't care what you say. I think it's your fault I'm not popular. Yeah, I think so. It's been a few years, and I know there's like a Watamote. I think is the Japanese name. I believe. Yeah, and I think I love this. Reminds me a lot of an older version of that character.
Yeah, I never.
Was just that kind of real awkward, and like when she goes to the convenience store. But the difference between them, I guess, though, is in the Watamote is the girl doesn't really want to be awkward like that. Like she's always wanted to go out with friends. But still, the awkward scene where she's in the convenience store in this episode reminds me of in Watamote, where she's eating at like Whack-Donald's after school because she's always wanted to go to Whack-Donald's with friends, but I think she's there by herself, and it's that kind of awkwardness. It's so similar, where they're both the neats and everything. But I guess the difference is Watamote, she doesn't want to be the neat, but this one isn't neat by choice.
So this is definitely one that I'm gonna give it 3 episodes and decide whether or not to continue after that.
I liked it. I wasn't super crazy about it, but I liked it.
Yeah. I have a feeling it could be really good. Just like it was timing for me.
And now I guess we're on to the next show. We are on to June Tyson, the Zodiac War. Did you watch this one? Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Well, now, when I first saw the kind of description for this show few weeks ago, I thought, maybe a little generic. It sounded like a show. No, I don't want to say generic. It just sounded like something. No, it wouldn't work out that good. And then I saw the preview for it, and I thought this looks pretty awesome. And then last week in Jump, at the end of the English Jump edition online, they had the first chapter from the book because Viz is releasing the book actually this Tuesday. The first volume of the book, so they had the first chapter of the book in there, and I didn't read the first chapter, but I read like they had a description before it of what the kind of the story was and what the first chapter was about and everything, and I thought this is a lot more than I thought it was. This sounds fucking awesome. And then I saw the show, and it was pretty awesome. Like, I loved this one. I I loved this one. This one was definitely one of my top of the listers here.
It was surprisingly good. It was also surprisingly epic.
It was very graphic, and then I believe I don't wanna I don't want to say this without doing a little second check here because I don't want to look like a fucking asshole.
So it kind of seems like every episode's going to be from a different point of view.
It kind of does. It kind of does. And the end of the first episode uh, was very shocking. I did not see that coming.
No.
When she died, I was very like, what? Like,
Yeah. So I guess maybe I'm wrong, but it seems kind of like a fate, fate, whatever series you want to call it, the fate series.
okay.
Kind of seems like that kind of setup where it's like 12 different warriors are brought together, and they're gonna fight each other. I think it's just like a ritualistic kind of thing, but they don't really go into why.
Mm-hmm.
So they all swallow poison at the very beginning of it, and I think it's something like they have 12 hours to get the antidote or to die.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the introduction episode where you start to meet the characters.
Yeah.
And you've got the point of view character, who is this rich girl assassin, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
She's carrying these two giant machine guns with her.
Her dad is the previous champion.
Yeah, and her dad's a previous champion.
So her family basically trains their whole life to be chosen to go to this battle royale event.
And so it starts out, like she's doing her assassin training. I think her dad raises her a little bit, and you kind of get the feeling that that's going to be the motivation. But as the episode goes on, she becomes more and more sadistic in her flashbacks.
Well, because her sister gets chosen over her. Her younger sister gets chosen by her dad as the representative that's going to go to this tournament.
Yeah. So she just completely destroys her sister, but not killing her physically hard. It's definitely very yeah, it's definitely visceral, I guess would be my best way of saying it.
Yeah. So the first episode's basically is just mostly about her, and then when she gets to the tournament, she looks around the room, and you get a little brief description about what the other people are, and then they ask a few questions when the tournament's being explained to them. Which, by the way, they have what? They have 24 hours, right? Or 12 hours. They have 12 hours. So yeah, they swallow this poison, and they only get the antidote if in the next 12 hours they kill everyone else there and get the little poison crystals out of them, and they collect all 12. Then they can, or however many there are, I think it's 12, right? They collect all of them, and then they'll get the antidote, and they'll also get one wish. Or they all die if there's not only one left alive in 12 hours.
This is the series that Lobo was interested in.
Well, tell you something that made me even more interested in it. It's the author. The author of it is the author of the Monogatari series. So it's that same author. Yeah, I bought the book. I bought it digitally. I get it on Tuesday. I'm gonna read it. I'm pretty psyched. So I bought the book last night. It's just waiting for Tuesday.
Now, Lobo, was this the one that you were interested in?
Well, I was talking about it. Now
I don't remember you talking smash.
yeah, no, now that like everything
It was good. It was good.
graphics, all right, now we'll get
And have you ever seen any of the Monogatari series, Jing? Okay. Well, I was gonna say if you have and you love those like I do, then you'd
I've seen that first episode like 6 or 7 times.
You make comments all the time about not judging things on the first episode, so
I eventually want to get past that first episode. I just don't think it's ever gonna happen.
fantastic. Well, why don't you watch it? They got that chronological order thing out now. Just watch them in chronological order.
Maybe.
Watch the 3 Kizu Monogatari movies. That's the first in the chronological order. Like, I'm rewatching it right now. I didn't watch it the first time in chronological order, but now I'm rewatching it.
I doubt that's gonna happen. But it might, because I hear nothing but good things about, Now, with that said, out of all the series I've seen so far this season, I have a feeling this would be the one I would suggest strongly. I think you would like this one.
Okay. Well, whatever. He's Jing Muggle. Muggle Jing. Jing a Muggle. Anyway, so I'm definitely going to be watching it. I'm very psyched. That's one that will not get left on the side at some point by me. Who knows which one of these series will get left on the side by me. I'm just saying won't be that one.
Do we want to take bets on
Who's going to win?
just from the first one? I know it's 11 characters.
Just from the first one, it's so hard. I mean, you would think clearly one of the ones that seems more like a good guy might win, but we just don't know a lot about them yet because they don't seem like main characters. But maybe once they get their episode, like like the monkey certainly seems like a good guy, kind of.
Which one was the
The monkey was the glasses chick, and she's got the headphones on. I love the old man with the explosives. I don't think he'll win, but but I liked him quite a bit.
I'm gonna take the wild card. I'm gonna take the long shot here. Hey, it's
The stripper rabbit.
side.
Yeah, that guy he's pretty awesome. I think he's too evil to win, but we will see, I suppose. So that's Uni Tyson, the Zodiac War. Next up, we have Sengoku Nightblood. Well, you did not have to suffer through it. So, this was the only one that I struggled to get through, really. And the visual you're seeing right now was the only thing I even liked, really, in the whole episode, is that little mascot character that was in it for a couple minutes, because that dude looks awesome. So this series starts with your typical, like, isekai or isekai, opening, girls just walking down, like, in the shopping district, flash of light, now she's in the other world, no explanation. It's the typical, which I have no problem with, because, if it's going to be about them being in the other world, then let's get to it. So once she gets there, she's in an era that I'm not really sure is supposed to be like an alternate dimension feudal Japan, or if it's supposed to be feudal Japan, because everybody's kind of like a fox or something, and it's basically, this show is, and what it is, it's an excuse for bishies in your face. That's what it is. As soon as she gets there, she's immediately surrounded by bishies. She needs help from bishies. Bishies are helping her if she's going to be fighting in the battle tomorrow. And it's like, you just fucking met this chick. She's a fucking schoolgirl. How much is she going to help you in the battle tomorrow? But it's like, we need you. We need you to fight with us tomorrow. And it's kind of like a reverse harem type of thing with bishies in your face. That's all it is.
Let's hold up here. All right, you mentioned that the other day when we were talking, and I didn't know what a bishi was. And I held off till now. What is a bishi?
You know damn well what a bishi is.
I do not. That's why I'm asking.
Type in bishies into your search engine. You know what? Here we go, actually. Here we go. Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary. Bishi. Short for Bishonen. Translated roughly meaning pretty boy. Used for attractive male anime characters and sometimes real life. Generally they are sort of girlish looking. Generally used by rabid anime fans who can't spell Bishonen, so they shorten it. Quote, OMG, he's so bishy. He's mine.
That's the first time I've ever heard.
So it's basically uh, pretty boy. So that's what it is, and it's
Is it like an insult or is it?
that's just what they are. It's Bishona. That's a kind of character.
Take it as an insult. What's the problem?
That's the kind of character it is. It's a bishy. So usually, if you see like a male idol show or something, like they're all bishies.
Okay, I guess.
Like here's a lineup from Utapri. Here's a lineup from Utapri. Lineup of bishies.
Okay.
Like it's basically a show for like a girl. Like here's a bunch of like hot guys in your face, and oh, also it's revealed later in the episode that all the bishies are in this army are vampires, and you get yourself a little vampire nighttime kind of harem-y romance scene with the girl, and like I need you, and you're like, oh my god. I saw somebody else talking about where they were talking about the show, and it was like if you ever wondered what if Twilight was an anime, what it would be like. Here you go. So this series gets a big ol' eh, and I will don't think I'll be watching it. I really don't think so. So, however, if I see this character here pop up again, I'll throw up a screenshot of this cool looking mascot character because if he pops up anywhere, because he's pretty cool looking. But 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 other than that, the only worthwhile part of that show. And okay, now we're gonna move on to one of my most hyped shows for the season, and that's of course, as we talked about earlier, it's impossible for me to hate anything Jump. So we have Black Clover. I'm gonna assume you watched Black Clover.
I did watch Black Clover.
Okay, so I'm gonna assume you watched Black Clover, and I've made my thoughts known on Black Clover before. I think the first chapter of the manga is one of my favorite first chapters of any manga. I think Black Clover as a series is great for a while, then it falls off a little bit, then it's great, falls off a little bit, great. It goes back and forth, but it's never bad. It's never bad. And I'm really excited about the show because it's cool seeing the spells animated. Because honestly, Black Clover is a manga where sometimes the spells have so much going on that the way he draws it, sometimes it's kind of hard to really figure out what's going on in the battle sometimes. You're just like, okay, the bad guy's down now. I'm not completely sure what just happened. But so it's going to be cool to see the spells in the animated and everything.
So, which I don't want to give this on, and I'll let you know why after you give it.
You don't want to know what?
So I don't want to give my synopsis on this. So if you want to give it, I'll explain why.
Well, I mean, I really liked the episode. Asta is one of those kind of anime characters that you'd see pop up in a lot of like the fan-made inspirational speech videos on the internet, and that's because he's pretty awesome, and I love his training area. I love what he's doing, the little handstand push-ups. That's really fucking cool. So Asta is a guy without magic in a world where everybody else has magic. He has no magic. Never had it. He's an orphan that gets dropped off there with this other kid, and the other kid's like a magical prodigy. So, he's a prodigy. Yes. So here comes the day where they're going to be taken to this ceremony that all the boys go to when they get to a certain age, and it's the thing where your grimoire is going to choose you. So you're in this like massive tower that's like a library with books all along the walls, and they're grimoires, basically the magic books, and they're going to choose their master basically in the ceremony. So the guy that the other kind of secondary main character, he gets, of course, the prodigy His he gets chosen by like a grimoire that only someone called the Wizard King, which is basically his aspiration, like the greatest mage, and he's like the leader of the whole mage world and everything. And that's what Asta wants to become. So this is one that used to be one of the previous Wizard Kings. So he gets basically one of the best ones that you can get. Asta is not chosen by anything. He gets nothing. No book comes to him. Everybody laughs at him, makes fun of him. His kind of brother, so to speak, not really his brother, but they kind of see each other as brothers in a way. He kind of laughs at him. Not really laughs at him, but he's just kind of like a little bit disappointed, I suppose. So later in the episode, of course, battle starts happening as someone who was at the ceremony sees get this great grimoire, and he's going to steal it from him and try to sell it on the black market. So the fight ensues. Asta comes to save him, and it's revealed that he was in fact chosen by a grimoire. He was chosen by a really super rare grimoire, and you see it kind of manifests itself as this giant black sword. They don't show in this episode, which is weird because I swear the first chapter covers more than this episode covers. The first chapter of the manga. I swear it does. I don't think they actually show you what the sword does in the episode. Right? They don't show you what the sword does. He just kind of gets it, and then like the fight's about to go down, and then I think the first episode covers the whole fight. I mean the first chapter of the manga does. So I can't really say what the sword does because we're not talking about the manga right now. We may in the future, but right now we're just talking about the anime episode. So I guess we need different spoiler warnings whether we're talking about anime or manga. So I can't talk about what the sword does. But let's just say it's very fitting of Asta's character and the story as a whole. And in traditional Jump fashion, it's gonna be really good. Like, if you generally like Jump shows, you'll like this show.
So, I was hugely disappointed. I mean, I thought I thought I would like this show. But as I was watching, I was just thinking, I've seen all this before.
Well, I will tell you that I agree that it kind of has a similar kind of Naruto My Hero Academia opening, but I mean, a lot of stories have similar openings and then they branch off onto what their story is. I mean,
Yeah, and I will give it I'll give it a shot. Because, I mean, it comes so highly recommended by you, I'll keep watching. But with that said, right, so in these, Jump series or whatever, you always have that main character. And everybody always says, you're so annoying. And they're never really that annoying, right?
oh god, you're gonna say Asta's annoying, aren't you?
He is the most annoying. That voice actor nailed annoying.
I really.
So obnoxious.
I remember in the posters for the show, I was kind of disappointed because I thought they made Asta look a little bit different than the manga. But then when I actually watched the show, I liked Asta's design quite a bit, and
I didn't have a problem with his design, but his voice, like it was at the halfway point, I started dreading every time he would talk, and I knew I was gonna cringe. It was so obnoxious. Like, like I said, I'm gonna give it another 2 episodes, right?
yeah.
But if his voice continues to be that level of obnoxious, I'm gonna have to drop it just because of that.
Okay, so hey, we're finally on different sides of something. So yay, I guess yay, but no, I like Black Clover. It'll be if you ever hear it, it'll be extremely rare on the show that you ever hear me say anything bad about something Jump related. So so it really will be. So big. I love Jump. Big Jump memorabilia collector. Collect every single thing I can. In fact, the 50th anniversary for Jump is starting. One of the big first things for it is this week, and they're releasing a 50th anniversary commemorative kind of deck of cards. I'm definitely gonna try to get my hands on that. Comes out on Tuesday in Japan. Gonna be searching on eBay. So you'll never hear me say much bad about Jump. On the opposite hand, you'll hear Brandon say jokingly bad things about Mecha series, but you know he really loves all of them.
No, there's nothing but all mecha and shit.
Uh,
There's no such thing as a good mecha.
he's lying completely. He loves it. Um,
Oh, I do love it.
so that's Black Clover, and
It's yeah.
so that's Black Clover. Really, I I liked it. I like Asta as a character. And I will.
I really hope they just like if they change his voice, not change like the voice actor, but if they just make it
Just wait with all the
Calvin Cox.
with all the different spells they have in this show and everything, and all the different tons of different characters. There's going to be a lot of really cool fights in this show, also.
Okay, so the main bad guy
With
he has like chain magic.
with the chains, yeah.
Yeah, I did like that. So I have pretty decent hopes that that'll be still.
So I don't know. It's going to be cool. And Asta's fighting styles, it's real physical. So it's going to see a real physical kind of fighting style against magic, especially once you see what the sword actually does. Um, and I guess which will be revealed next episode, when it should have been revealed in the first one, I think, since that is in the first chapter. But I think they spent a lot more time, like early in the episode, with some stuff that's not necessarily in the manga. They spent a little bit more time on that pre-ceremony stuff. So next show we're going to talk about, we're going to move on to Urahara. I'm not surprised. I didn't think you would. Um, so this is a show that I have on the maybe list. It's a show that's like a comedy, somewhat action show, but mostly comedy, that takes place in Harajuku. So it's got that real Harajuku style, even the kind of the colors and the character designs and everything. It's real Harajuku like. And but I thought that the clothing design, and basically it's about these girls that run a store in Harajuku that end up getting like superhero powers from an alien to fight these invading aliens, because these aliens come to Earth, and the problem with these aliens planet is this aliens planet has no culture. So the aliens plan is to go to other planets throughout the galaxy and suck up the planet's buildings and try to take the culture from the planet for their own. So basically the goal is they're trying to defend Harajuku culture. I know this story is a little whatever, but the whole point is the kind of comedy of it. And I thought the attacking aliens, the way they made them look, and the way that the clothes look on the superhero things, and even the way kind of the character design and animation is, I could be lynched for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Honestly, I'm gonna say it's got a real Trigger look to it. I'm not saying the show's Trigger quality. I'm just saying the designs and the way the alien ships look and everything. Especially if we're talking about the Space Patrol Girl show that Trigger did. Anything like that. It's the design's really like that. So this is a show I had on the maybe. I mean, the girls are all kind of pretty cool, especially the girl you see there in the visual with the little blue outfit on. She's kind of the funniest one going on. But it's still just a maybe. I don't know if I'd end up watching it, though, just because there's so many shows that I really did like so far, so I don't know if I'll have the time to squeeze it in, but you never know, it could happen. So since nobody else watched it, we're going to move on to Osama Game, or The King's Game. Did anybody else watch The King's Game? You did not watch The King's Game. Okay, so The King's Game, which I'm sure you've heard of in other anime series. Oh, I don't know why I sent you that picture. That's not the picture you were supposed to get. Let me find the picture that you were supposed to get. Okay, the picture you were supposed to get. The King's Game, as you've seen in other series, is a game that Japanese people play where essentially one person is the king and they get to kind of command everybody else. And if you don't do what they say, you lose. How is that a game? I don't know. But you see it pop up in a lot of different anime series. So this takes it as kind of a supernatural force is forcing these high school classes to play the game. And they die if they don't complete their orders within a 24-hour period. So the main character was somebody who's a transfer student because the last class he was in at his other school was forced to play this game, and he was the only survivor. And so now he's in the new class, and it's kind of following him around. It's making him and his class play this game now. So he keeps trying to tell the class about it when he gets the first order, because the first order is that he's got to kiss this girl in the class by 24 hours. And they think that he sent the text to everybody in the class just because he likes the girl or whatever. So he's trying to tell people, no, this is like some really sick shit. And like, we're going to die if it doesn't happen. And they don't believe him. So then he gets the kiss done. And then everybody in the class gets orders on their phone. And they're all different orders for all this stuff that they have to do and everything. And they quickly find out that the guy's right and this is some sick shit, as a few of them start dying some pretty brutal deaths. It's some pretty brutal graphic stuff with one guy in particular. So the game, I guess the series will go through the game, and every day different people going down if they don't do the orders until there's either one survivor or he finds a way to stop it from happening or whatever. Seems like a real kind of psychological, little bit horror, tense kind of show.
Yeah, that was definitely on my list of ones I wanted to watch. I just ran out of time.
So it was really good. I was pretty happy. I honestly didn't know what it was about at all when I started watching it. And from the poster, I was kind of thinking, I don't know. But I liked it. Okay, now we're gonna move on to if we're not talking Black Clover, if we're not talking a Jump Show, or we're not talking about Osumatsu, then we're talking about probably what was one of my favorite ones after that, which I was surprised because this was one of the shows where like it was kind of like I was just going through the new episodes for the day, and then I saw that it was out. And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to watch as many first episodes as I can this week. Maybe usually I'd skip over this from the picture because there's just so many series to watch that maybe I usually wouldn't have given it. I usually wouldn't have watched it. But I did. And we are talking about Just Because. This Just Because is fucking slice of life to me at its finest. I really liked it. Basically, the premise of the show, I guess, it's hard to get into like the feeling of the scenes from the first episode and the atmosphere and everything. It's hard to really like explain that. But it's about a guy, the main character is transferring into this school for the third and final trimester of the senior year. And what's going to ensue with all the different characters during that. That's really one of the main things in the first episode is he runs into one of his friends who he used to be on a baseball team with, and they have a really nice scene together doing some batting practice. And it's hard to really explain. Like, it didn't really have kind of like a core story. It just had a bunch of like little stories happening with the different characters that are going to be involved in the series. But it was just really like, I don't know, really the environment and just the feel of it. Like, I liked it a lot. It's going to be like a real relaxing, like when we were talking about restaurant to another world with it like being like comfortable.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like it's like there's no gimmick, there's no like going through life, man. It's like
This
you watch it, you
this
go, yep, I know that feeling. I kind of relate.
this was this was slice of life at its finest. This is a for sure gonna keep watching show. And the reason you see it on the visual there, the little play and the rewind and stuff, is because honestly, I didn't want to go to another website like an Analinks or something, and fucking Anime Strike wasn't giving me a clear fucking thing to take a screenshot without having those in there. So, so it's what it is. But I'm definitely gonna be watching it. Psyched. Um, Now we're gonna move on. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're gonna move on to another show that I'm pretty sure Brandon didn't watch. We're gonna watch Infinity Force.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so Infinity.
Did you watch that one?
So the animation of Infinity Force. Let's just start with the animation. It's like. It's like. Okay. I want to say like if you're watching. If you ever played like an older Capcom game, I want to say like PS2, maybe early PS3, and they had like a CG cutscene, and like you ever wondered, like, what would this be like if there was a whole series with this cutscene? That's what Infinity Force is. That's. Well, no. It's no. It's no Blizzard. Like it's super quality. I'm talking about like an older Capcom game.
Right, but I mean, I know the sentiment. I'm like, Blizzard, you should have just made a cinematic based movie instead of like, with people. Alright, anyway.
So what Infinity Force is basically is it's kind of like a crossover show with a bunch of the different Tatsunoko heroes coming together like in one world to fight like an evil that's trying to destroy all the worlds so he can make the perfect single one. I don't really know a lot about Tatsunoko characters. I have seen very little Gotcha Man before. Very little Gotcha Man. So I don't know a lot about Gotcha Man, and then the other heroes in the show I'm not aware of in any way. So when the characters from these different series are meeting each other, it really means nothing to me because I don't know anything about any of them. So maybe if you're like a big Tatsunoko fan, you'd be like, "Oh man, that guy's meeting that guy, fucking awesome." But for me, it's not like the Dragon Ball One Piece Toriko special. Like I love that. It's not like that. Like I don't know anything about these characters. Or like a Marvel versus Capcom. But I mean the action was really cool. The action scenes were pretty cool in the show. What was there? I don't think I'll be watching this one. I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm not saying it was terrible because it wasn't terrible. I mean, if you don't like CG animation, you definitely won't like this CG animation. I will say that. But as a whole, it's not bad. I'm not saying I don't recommend it. I mean, if you like Tatsunoko stuff, then go for it. You'll probably love it. One character particularly was like there was like this bowling scene, and it was introducing kind of one of the bad guys. He looked kind of the most tacky as far as we're talking about like old Capcom cutscenes or something. He looked the most tacky, like so. Whatever, but I mean the opening scene, like I said, the action scenes are pretty cool. Like the opening scene with Gotcha Man, like where he's fighting these jets and stuff. That wasn't bad. And there's this scene where all the heroes like where they first meet each other and they're fighting like these like mech tank kind of things. That looked kind of all right. It was pretty cool, but I don't see myself watching it because I don't know much about Tatsunoko, and this is I think all about being a big Tatsunoko fan because of the crossover. Okay, now we're going to talk about what is possibly my Definitely in my top five, I want to say, series of all time. And I mean, the manga, fucking love it. Every single week I'm reading, every single week when I'm reading Jump, sometimes you read a ton of series and you're thinking, holy shit, I just read like 15 series in a row. I'm kind of burnt out a little bit because I've been doing this for a long time. I think I might want to come back later to finish this magazine. And then you turn the page, and it's Shokugeki no Soma, and you get a new burst of energy. You're ready to keep going. That's the way I feel about Shokugeki no Soma. Never missed the manga. Following it for a long time. Fucking love it. So, of course, the third season of the show, especially going into one of the best parts of the series, I think, is just fantastic. Very excited. I'm obviously going to watch it. I mean, it goes without saying. There was no question there on that one. So I guess I'll let the guy that had never really had no idea what was going to happen in season 3. I guess we'll let him go for a little bit.
I'm guessing that's me then.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jing really has no fucking idea what's going to happen in season 3. But,
We posted a picture. I say let's go ahead and have Gene based on just that picture tell us what
Go on.
that would involve you telling us what it's about based on that.
No, like, okay, so
it's the dude with the dude sitting in the chair with the blonde and brown hair, and
We want details too.
this is a hard one for him because this one's not really fair.
I don't think. Have you watched any of Soma?
no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, I mean, kind of cocky, typical of royalty or place of importance, like government or wealthy or whatever you want to call it. Like living in the way, now wealth is doing that has to be power of some sort, and it's just trying to administer trauma. I'm gonna go with that.
God damn. Okay. Okay, so
Impressively put.
this is not Soma Jing. This is a member of what the school calls the Elite 10, which is kind of like the council for the school. It's really hard to get on the Elite 10. And this guy is, at this point in the series anyway, is one of the biggest dicks on the Elite 10. He actually runs the Chinese Cooking Society. And all the guys in the shirts you see behind them, they're kind of all bald, and he commands them, and they're very obedient in cooking his recipes. They like worship this guy.
Of all the things you could be in the command of, I don't think that's what you can get smug of.
Well, he's really this. You gotta understand that the school they go to in this show is like a very elite cooking school. It's like the elite cooking school for like the world, basically.
Okay, so the show is
And he's one of like, he's known as like one of the. He's on the Elite 10, so he's known as one of the 10 best students in the whole school. And I picked him. I picked him for the visual because I mean, not only is he going to be like the main kind of one of the main characters leading into this story arc but I mean also he's one of my favorite Elite 10 characters. So I wanted to put him up there.
I still think Gene was pretty pissed. So,
He was, my God, no, he had it.
other than him thinking it was Soma. But I didn't even hear him say that.
No, he didn't say it was Soma, but I was just saying that that's not the main character, just so he knew that he wasn't looking at the main character of the show.
Okay, so this is the opening to the third season, right? We're fresh out of the competition that they ended the second season on, where Soma got what, tied with second place with
Well, also at the end of the second season, he meets the Elite 10 at the little picnic and challenges them, and they all just kind of laugh at him and like, fuck you.
right. So basically, this character, visual, tells him if you can beat me on any one thing cooking related, you can challenge me to this, competition that they have.
Shokugeki.
I mean, I'm gonna call it the English thing. I'm not gonna call it English. So,
Please don't.
I don't have a problem with it as much as you do.
On the notes on my paper, I don't even have it written anywhere.
Basically, think like Iron Chef kind of competition, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same thing. And so, Soma, the main character, finds out that they're about to have a festival, right? And in this festival, the Elite Ten always have their own booth set up, and they're always like the main draws of this entire festival, right? And pretty much these people are in charge of like restaurant level,
That,
things.
like thousands of people come all over the world to this festival for these few days to try all the different, to buy all the food that all these student and like organizations in the school set up booths and everything. It's like it's a really big deal.
So this episode was about Soma learning about that and kind of coming up with his plan, right? What he's gonna do to challenge this guy. We don't know what that is yet because they didn't announce it. But this show always has these great moments.
No, they did. He's gonna try to outsell the guy's booth.
Yeah, yeah. So we know that. We know that he's gonna try to outsell. He's gonna try to generate more revenue. We know that, right? But how he's gonna do it is yet to be seen. And that's kind of what the cornerstone of this show is. Every time you think Soma's kind of in a corner or something, he always, pulls through, I guess. He always has that ace up his sleeve. I don't know. It's kind of like the fighting shows,
It's a cooking. No, I
No, it's very much like what Jump. See, one of the things that Jump does, and they do it with more than just cooking, is they have this really kind of cool thing of taking manga concepts that usually wouldn't be battle manga per se, even though cooking kind of fits it just perfectly. If you've ever watched cooking shows before, and they take it and put it in a battle manga style and really make it work with it, like what they do with Shokugeki no Soma, what they do with Kuroko's basketball, what they do with Haikyuu. They really Prince of Tennis. Like they do it with a lot of things. They do a really good job of it. And also, I'm just a huge fan of the art. I mean, the show kind of the show does a good job, like really good job of kind of matching the art from the manga, but the manga especially, just a huge fan of the art in the manga. It's done really well.
and I will say this about the main character, right? I normally hate the arrogant main characters, right? But Soma he pulls it off.
He's a little bit arrogant, but only about the people that are like in his face and like.
And he has a reason.
And then he just shoves after he shoves it in their face. He's a little arrogant about it. Soma's really friendly and helpful with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But he also has a reason to have that kind of, right? Whereas most shows, with that kind of character, they have it because they're a prodigy, right? But Soma actually worked for it.
Soma's he's got a bit of a kind of chip on his shoulder a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely one of my favorite shows. So, and I have a feeling it'll consistently stay up.
Oh, this is great. This is one of the best arcs in it. So, yes, definitely. So we got a few shows left. We're gonna go to one that I know Brendan didn't watch for sure, even though he should have. Definitely. We're talking about Mr. Osumatsu-san Season 2, the greatest anime comedy of all time. And Season 2, first episode, does not disappoint. They are right back at it with great stuff. They have not missed a beat. So if you love, I mean, basically this show is just about six twins, and they're crazy. They're kind of neats. They're kind of real pathetic and everything. Like they're real pathetic. They're all losers. And this is the crazy hijinks of the events in their loser life as they try to find different schemes and stuff to be successful. and it never working out for them. And all the side characters too that aren't the brothers are also just amazing, fantastic losers. There is not a minute of this show that's that's not fucking hilarious. Basically, the show is amazing. So if you didn't watch the first season, fucking get on it, because you're missing out.
Okay. Like I said, it's on my queue. I'll get to it eventually.
It's hard to even talk about the stories from the episodes really because sometimes they're just so crazy. Like, but like I said, this one does not fail to disappoint, and it's a show that I could not fucking wait for. I was so excited when it got a second season. One of my other favorite all-time comedies, Hozuki no Ritetsu, that starts soon. That's also in this season, so it's going to be a great season for comedy. We'll talk about Hozuki no Rietsu when it starts. Um, okay, we got three shows left. Three shows left that I've have. Then I think Brandon has a show as well. Um, but so next up we have Kino's Journey. Which was not what I was expecting in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
I
In
don't have any so I'm delightfully surprised at how much I enjoyed this.
yes. Kino is. It looks like it's kind of like. I think one of the things that I like about it is kind of like the Galaxy Express 39 series, where it's all just about like kind of like adventure. Although in Galaxy Express 39, you know, every episode or couple episodes is a different planet with a different kind of storyline going on that the characters are involved with. And this is Kino's basically he's an adventurer. You can call it an adventure. That's his claimed occupation. And it seems like he just travels from country to country and gets into different shit.
So I don't know if this is supposed to be a plot point, completely irrelevant. But Kino's a girl.
So, well, I don't.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a major reveal
Hmm.
or what. But I was reading the synopsis and it refers to her as a she, and I was reading comments.
Come on.
They were pretty much saying the same thing. Where they didn't really make it obvious her gender.
They really did not.
So I'm thinking maybe it's just one of those irrelevant things.
Now, is the talking motorcycle a guy or a girl? There's a question.
That definitely happened.
So, I guess so, but you know, they didn't make that gender obvious. So,
So it's kind of like I think you were saying, right? It's comfy.
I don't know if it's necessarily. I mean, some stories I think might end up being comfy, and
There'll
some,
definitely be.
like I said, just I get that Galaxy Express feel where it's going to probably be a lot of different types of stories.
Yeah. So basically, Kino is driving around their world and going to different countries. I don't think country is the right translation. I think it might be cities.
They keep calling it countries in the
They
show,
definitely keep calling it countries. And so she goes to this one country
which is
where
in front of you in the visual. It's got the wall around it.
it is legal to murder people, right? There is no penalty. Well, there is no legal penalty for killing people. And as she's in the world, she goes to the country and she discovers that it's pretty much a normal place. You know, everybody's happy. There's law and order. Everybody gets along. Everybody's polite. They're treated nicely. And so that goes on for the majority of the episode. But there's this point where it turns really weird. Like it gets extremely odd. And not surprisingly odd, but just you kind of expect it. And it's where a character that you meet earlier in the episode tries to kill Kino, right? And he's acting like a tough guy thief. He also just arrived in this country. And everybody turns on him and kills him. And so that's how they keep law and order, is anybody who tries to kill somebody gets killed themselves, right? Yes.
Mm. Yeah.
And so it's yeah, it's I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it.
I liked it. Wasn't. I know. I mean, I know I'm comparing it to Galaxy Express 39, and that's one of my favorite series of all time. But Kino's Journey, I did like it, but it wasn't necessarily one of my favorites. I thought it was really good, but
No, it's definitely
I'm
good.
definitely gonna watch it though. And now here we go. We got two more to go. Two more to go that we watched, and then I think Brandon has one more. Like I said, but so we're gonna talk about. Let me get it here. We are doing Girls' Last Tour, and I think, judging by something he said last night, that someone has a lot to say about Girls' Last Tour. So go ahead. So
I don't know if I'd say it's a lot, but okay. So this is about two girls traveling this dystopian future, right? It may not even be a future. It may even be the past. But as you're traveling through it, the world, it's kind of I don't know how best to describe it. It's kind of a light tone, right?
real light.
And yeah, it's a real light tone between the two of them, right? But the setting, the mood of it, is like there's discarded weapons, there's destroyed tanks and planes, and just this super depressing mood mixed with these two girls who,
There's
again, just a light
oh.
tone. They're kind of jokey with each other. There's lighthearted moments. Uh, you know,
Uh,
it's a weird
they're
kind of contradiction to each other.
the two girls that basically have nothing. Like their constant goal in life is just to find food and supplies. Like
Again, though, but the way they go about describing that it's meant in a light tone.
oh yeah, no, it was a good episode. Yeah.
Most of it, most of it. So, like the scene that blew me, like literally, like I was watching it and I just completely wasn't even thinking about what could happen in the future. Like how you normally do, like you kind of predict how this is gonna turn out. You know, but there's a scene where they get these chocolate bars, right?
That girl should not have eaten that fucking chocolate. That girl should not.
So there's five chocolate bars, or five, chocolate cookies, or whatever you want to call them, and they split it two and two, right? And there's the fifth one, right? And the girl that I think is the straight man of the two, right? She's gonna be the more inclined to reason. She goes, well, we'll just split this in two, right?
Yeah.
And so this leads into probably one of the most intense fucking scenes I've ever seen.
The other girl takes the fucking chocolate out of the
Takes the
package,
chocolate,
and then the black-haired girl.
points the gun at her.
Yeah.
Points a gun at the other one, and I totally thought she
Yeah.
was gonna fucking murder the other little girl.
Why I never thought she was gonna murder her, but the black girl does look like she's like so sad. Like we're friends. We're gonna split that chocolate. What the fuck are you doing? Like,
Dude, I totally thought it was gonna turn on the chocolate. And, like that was gonna be like the main, thing about it.
I will say that I thought.
They're constantly at a point where they're gonna kill each other.
I will say that I thought the blonde girl was joking when she put the gun at her, but like the longer she kept it on her, even though I knew she was never gonna shoot her, it was still like a little weirder the longer she kept it on her.
Oh, dude, I totally thought. I didn't think they'd shoot her, but I totally thought that was what it was gonna be about the rest of the series. Was just every chance they get, they're that close to just killing each other, right? And it is intense. But as I was thinking about it afterwards, that's their idea of playing.
Oh,
They have social norms. They don't know pointing a gun at each other is bad.
because after the girl finally does eat the chocolate, the black-haired girl kicks her ass. But, but like,
I can't even begin to describe that horror I had. Like that's what I want out of any kind of story. That kind of just completely envelops you, and you're like completely into it, really
Okay.
I can't. This is probably going to be maybe my number two after seven this season.
It's really good. I know that if you look at the manga, I've never read the manga, but if you look at the different covers for the manga volumes and stuff, like that kind of gives you the feel of the vibe the series is gonna have. They're all really great, like manga covers and pictures and stuff. It's gonna be really great, really great
Like
show.
I have a feeling this is going to be like the next Madoka Magica. I have a feeling it's going to go down that route.
I see. I don't think so. I think
No,
it's
no, I mean in the sense of like it's going to be really highly regarded because of this kind of contradiction between the tone that you get at first and then how it goes.
um, so. I guess we got two more to go.
Definitely suggest that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely gonna be watching it.
I can see if it continues at the same pace that it is going to get a little boring.
Hmm.
Because I mean, if
Hmm.
every episode's going to be, them just trying to find food, you know what I mean? I'm still gonna watch it.
Well, I mean, you're talking to someone who loved Restaurant is Another World, and that's essentially every episode there is about food. So, like, just someone else eating food every episode. So, I will have no problem if they kind of have.
And yet you hated Blade Runner.
Oh, I did hate Blade Runner. That is the most boring fucking shit. But I told you, second one's 1,000 times better. Second time's 1,000 times better. Okay, so now we're gonna do Ancient Magus Bride, which you said you did not watch, but you are going to watch. Um, I'm gonna be honest. Disappointed. Disappointed. In fact, I was a little uncomfortable with the episode. I don't know. I thought it was kind of boring. It's not really a negative against the episode, but every time he's called her my puppy, I got a little. That was a little weird for me. It made me a little awkward. I don't know. Like I definitely wouldn't be into that. That was her, but that has nothing to do positive or negative to the episode. I just wanted to make that comment. I don't know. Basically,
Kind of like forced into that.
basically, she's on an auction for like a slave auction, and this rich demon dude just walks in and he's like just bids like a ridiculous amount of money and like she's mine, and they tell her like, sir, you can't walk on stage, and he's like, fuck you, I'm buying her. And so he buys her, but he's not buying her as his slave. He turns out he's like a ancient really powerful mage, and he's buying her to make her his apprentice. But he reveals later in the episode that he also plans on her being his future wife. So there's that going on. So basically, the episode's just him taking her back to his house, saying, "You're going to be my apprentice." Different creatures from around his little forest come to meet her, like these fairies. These fairies want her for themselves, so they like trick her into the forest, and they're gonna kidnap her and take her to their world. And then he comes and stops that shit from happening. I thought it was kind of boring. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. Like I think it's because I was expecting a completely different kind of thing than what it was. I mean, I'm not gonna just stop watching it based on the one episode because it wasn't terrible, but I know it's the most hyped anime for the season. I know it's the most everything has it is like listed as the most hyped anime for the season. So there must be something there.
So what is it? Is it like a romance? Is it comedy?
It seems like there's a little bit of comedy, but kind of leans more towards. I think it's going to be about the romantic side of it. I'm not sure. I told you there wasn't really a lot in that first episode. I think like.
So being forced into marriage is romance there?
Well, I don't know if he's planning on forcing her. I think it's more like I'm planning on you like eventually loving me or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so now, I guess for a show that I have no visual for, because I didn't watch it, but I plan on watching it. I just didn't get to it. It came out today, so I didn't originally plan on it being part of the show, I guess, so I didn't prep for it, and then I didn't want to prep for more series, so I didn't watch it yet, but Brandon did watch it. So go ahead and talk about Blood Blockade Battlefront Season 2, Episode 1.
Um, yeah,
You said you watched it.
I did watch it, and I do remember what happened.
Okay,
So, it's one of those shows that's really weird. It has a lot going on. And I realized that's the reason why I don't remember. Because there's just so much stuff going on, right? It's UFOs, monsters, magic, sci-fi, everything you can imagine. City. But it has a kind of, I guess, jazz tone to it. I don't know what the best way to describe that would be, but that's what I think of. You know, the soundtrack is jazz, and, you know, it has that kind of feel to it. But basically, this episode is about the main character, and he gets his first day off, right, in a long time. And he is dragged into another wacky adventure. And this wacky adventure happens to be the liaison for that city, for the United States government, getting his head cut off and put into a box. And the episode's about the kid. The head, by the way, can talk, and I think that's important to say. It's not just like a, you know, bleeding head in the mouth. But the episode's about the main character, whose name is Leonardo? Yeah, Leonardo. And getting the head to the headquarters, while everybody is trying to stop him because there's this huge bounty on the head. And, you know, again, hijinks ensues.
Okay, well, like I said, I did not watch it, but I will be next week. I guess I'll be ready to talk about it. I mean, when we do the show next week, there shouldn't be a second episode yet. So, but I guess I'll be willing to give my thoughts on the first episode next week. And whatever shows we do decide to continue watching, I really like the idea of showing Jing posters and having him guess what series is about, even though he did a really good job with this week, so that might not be as fun as we think.
Yeah, but when I go wrong,
Might not be,
I still, yeah, I think it.
but I guess
I don't want him to start getting it wrong on purpose.
no, I'll still, like, you know, just go off of whatever the thing is, and I'm just,
So, okay, kind of as a summary, right? Were there any shows definitely not going to be the second episode?
Sengoku Nightblood.
I think I am going to wait on Recovery of an MMO Junkie. I think I'm going to wait till all of it's out and then wait to see what people say.
Okay.
Jing, is there any shows that you know, heard about that you're thinking about watching?
let me go back onto the list. Pretty sure there was one.
Is it the Juni Tensen, the Zodiac one?
No, yeah.
At some point, watch Soma. You'll love it. I promise.
I think it's
Just because. Well, if you like slice of life shows, like I said, I really think it's slice of life kind of at its best. No, restaurant tour. Well, I was just talking about comfort, like because you guys had mentioned that was like a comfortable show. Whereas, just because I guess like a good slice of life show is kind of like watching a reality show that's not garbage. I guess. So, just like watching stuff happen. So okay, well that's it. I guess that is the week 1 of Fall Anime 2017. We'll definitely have less shows to talk about next week, but maybe not because there's probably more shows starting this week. that are going to be right there for us. We went really long today, but that's fine. That's it. We'll be back next week with whatever we're still watching, news. Maybe Jing will look at some posters, guess what they're about. Maybe we'll do some trivia. Maybe we'll do top 10 shows that we. What the fuck? Where the fuck season 2? We want to know. We'll talk about that. Maybe we'll even do some research on the shows ourselves and be like, maybe we'll know why the fuck there's not a season 2 for that show by the time, and we can reveal that as well. So anyway, that's it. We're gonna sign off now and go do what we do. You go do what you do. Whatever. See you next week.